into it. One thing I love about this D2 Hustlers draft, I'm not in love with the Spectre, and it does mean that that side of the map is fairly weak, but their other lanes are amazing, Fluke. DK into Ember, we should see DK come away great on that one, but Primal Beast, Skywrath Mage, that's a rough lane to play into as a Terrorblade. It's gonna get harassed out quite a bit, and a lot of this harassment is magical damage, so that massive amount of armor that you have not gonna protect you that much.
Yeah, it is Hakoda that, pardon me, it is Hakoda that's playing the Sky Mage, so I hope that they do lane up the way you said, right? Like Primal Beast and Skywrath Mage in the duo and the Enchantress and the Spectre being in the bottom side, so maybe it might just be like player preference. I feel like if they go Sky, Spectre, and Primal Beast, that's like the worst possible scenario for them, because Spectre, you just want to be able to keep her alive. You don't want to have to try and go for kills all too much, and the Eng can do a really good job at zoning out a lot of these heroes. And the Sky Mage is just so good into the Terrorblade. So I hope they do make that change, because otherwise I'm going to be a little less excited about their lanes, and I think they could put themselves in a rough spot where they don't have the best of the heroes that they've got. So they just put Spectre bottom. They're going to try and have a little fight at level 1.
They're gonna find a kill at level 1. It's not just a little skirmish here. They get the first blood, they pick up a bounty, and they should be able to pick up the one down bottom as well. If ITB had gotten 3 bounties, maybe you're okay with this. I mean, on the side of D2 Hustlers, but ITB not just getting first blood, also getting up even bounty trade. This feels good. They are going to be putting Hakoda top to make sure that they get as much harass out as possible. And Respect doesn't have access to the Fade bot anymore. And they triggered the meta from Otaka. So he thought that they might be going in for a small skirmish here, but it ends up not happening. Just has to try and utilize this to clean out the creep wave.
Okay, so it was just player preference. All right, this is good here from D2 Hustlers. I expected them to play these lanes this way. I like that Otaka, this is usually what you see from Terrorblades, right? Popping the meta and just being able to abuse level 1, and that's the issue with Hakoda going this concussive shot. They tried to get a little cheeky with their level 1. You know, concussive shot into the trample can do a lot of damage on these heroes, but Otaka was able to abuse the fact that he's not just going to get like perma spammed like every 5 seconds from the Skywrath Mage, and only has to really worry about concussive shot. And just meant that he was able to secure the whole first wave, 4 and 3 on the denies, whereas unfortunately with Dalai Lama, he hasn't even looked at a creep just yet.
Well, he's looked at them, but they want nothing to do with him, because they've just all been killed in front of him. Down bottom. It will be very intriguing to see how this Yuma lane pans out on the Spectre. Not anticipating them to do all that well. Like Shibe on the Snapfire. You're playing melee heroes? Honestly, Snapfire is horrendous to play into in the from the safe lane position. Should still be able to get his farm with the dagger, but I anticipate Shibe pretty much getting free farm under these conditions on the Snapfire.
Yeah, and I think the Oracle is just going to go for a much more supportive focused Enchantress. You know, just get a few early levels in Nature's Attendance just to keep Yuma happy. Because it's going to get to the point where they can transition some of these heroes. You know, the Skywrath Mage on Hakoda can make his way towards bottom if they get an early start here for Dalai Lama. So I think if they just keep Yuma happy for the first couple of levels and you know, they should be okay with how their lanes are going. This mid lane though, this is where it's, this is starting to look good here for Adzentic. He kind of did a number on Supreme in game number 1 in the laning phase. So the fact that he has an advantageous matchup this time around with the Dragonite means that that should be able to enable them to have this hero again that gets a very, very early Blink Dagger. And this time around, Dragonite is a hero that kind of has just good transitions, right? Like he gets Blink Dagger, he gets BKB, he gets Ags. All of those items are big spikes for him, and their build-ups are really, really nice. You know, naturally tanky hero, has a decent amount of damage with Max Breathe Fire and his Elder Dragon form. So it just makes it a lot easier this time around for D2 Hustlers to play the game, even though it's very similar kind of heroes, right? You got a Blink Initiator that's tanky and does a lot of damage, and Dragonite is a lot easier for them to transition in towards that mid to late game than the Tiny was.
So much slower start still. Immersion, we see him down bottom, dragging a huge creep wave. Middle, just Supreme challenging up against this DK. Top lane though, we might lose the life of Respect. Hakoda trying to take him down, but Dalai Lama also in danger here. Gets lifted during the onslaught, so he can't escape. Fortunately for him though, Otaka does not have access to the Metamorphosis, so they lack the damage necessary to kill this Primal Beast. Nice plays coming in from Respect, but not going to be enough to keep him alive. And they get the kill in the top lane.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a bit dicey there for Dalai Lama, but as you said, no meta means that it's too hard for them to get that kill. Theola call. No, we don't need this, fam. One more right click from Immersion. Finds the kill. There's no untouchable. And at the same time, okay, Hakoda just denies himself.
Just walks back to the tier 2 tower, takes himself out. This is not good. On the bright side, he's been giving up his life for the cause, prepared to put his body on the line to make sure that Yuma can find some CS. He knows that this game, the laning phase in particular, gets harder and harder as time goes on. But this is nice to be Shiba in this situation, right? You are about to also get access to this ring of health, so they really won't have enough harass damage to ever really concern you in the laning phase anymore.
Yeah, it's at a good spot now for Zibe to be able to transition in towards his next set of items. I like that going for this Snapfire. It's another one of those heroes that I'm not 100% convinced is a really good offlaner. I think its laning phase is pretty good, but once you start getting towards the mid game, it feels like it's kind of just a support that you just get some early levels on. So I want to see what Zibe does this time around after his game 1 performance. See whether or not they give a little bit more farming time to a player like Immersion. You obviously need to get that shard as soon as you hit 15 minutes. And then especially if you start to transition a little bit later on with things like the Diffusal Blade and BKB and all that kind of stuff that we've seen from some of these support Rickies.
Yuma might die, actually. There's not enough mana for 5 snap with you. Okay, he's fine. Scary place to be. Does have 9-1 charges. Yep, so he's going to be chilled. Still playing very aggressively on the side of the map. And are having more mangoes coming in for Shebe. Wants to keep the harass going in this laning phase. Speaking of harass that's been happening, whilst top is just toying around with each other, mid lane, this DK is demolishing the Ender Spirit. Double the net worth, or double the CS right now. More than triple the denies. Not having the best time in his life here, Supreme. You were mentioning how the matchup is favored towards the DK, but even though it's favored towards DK, this is still a very good job being done by Adzentic.
Yeah, Adzentic is one of those mid laners in this tour that I think is kind of up there with his laning prowess. He really hasn't lost all too many lanes and has just been able to abuse a lot of these advantageous lanes that he gets. Like the fact that he's doing this to an Ember Spirit now just means that his level 6 is going to come out much faster. He's going to get a lot more farm. And it means if you keep Supreme down, then it's going to be hard for Into the Breach to get a lot of these team fights going because they're going to rely quite heavily on the Snapfire damage. And if they don't really have an Ember Spirit that can deal the damage himself or even survive in these fights, then maybe Odzika is going to have to play a little bit of an earlier part in the game than he would like. And that's when it starts getting a bit rough Into the Breach if their Terrorblade has to be the one that comes into these fights and deals the extra damage for them.
So now this DK just going to keep the train going. Hasn't decided what he wants to build into first just yet, as he has power treads finished. We do see that they just grab some bounties on the Ember Spirit, so he's refilled down bottom. They're going on to Theoloco and they should be able to kill him. Shibe might not be able to save the life of Immersion here, as Yuma trying to chase him down, but they don't have the damage. Eventually though, with those mud golems, they find the kill. On the meantime, on the other side of the map, we're looking for a deny. Hakoda brings down Respect before he can deny himself, but needs to watch out. The illusion from Otaka is still chasing him down. I don't think he dies though. 70 HP, he's gonna get the bonus armor from the tower. Should be a-okay, even though there's an annoying creep wave chasing behind him. So good start across the map here.
Oh, there's another fight towards mid though. I think he's okay.
They're just saving Adzentic. Although there's 4 heroes from ITB in this mid lane. Oh my god.
I think that's pressure, right? That's pressure from the fact that Adzentic is starting to pull away from Supreme, and we've all been in games like this where you know that you need to start helping out your mid laner because he needs to have a decent start so he can transition to these items like the Maelstrom and get a few more of these stat items, because otherwise he could just be on a feed train. Yeah, the Tomato was almost a hidden little agent there for Into the Breach, taking down Hakoda. He was able to just get away from it. Divine Llama. Oh my god, bro.
Dropped down to 70 HP. Also, surprisingly enough, Master Flute, despite the fact that this DK is done phenomenally in the CS department, yet again, Supreme, with net worth, he's the one on top this time around. 2,900. He's actually above the DK somehow. Doing a really good job. They might kill Hakoda in the top lane. Respect really wants to kill. One more right click. He will be able to find it. But he does die for this as well. And Otaka not close enough to mount some revenge play. Nonetheless, though, just by himself, he zones back the entire offlane, giving the catapult wave completely free over towards the Terrorblade. So still really good plays coming in from Respect there.
Yeah. I think maybe some of that net worth could be coming from bounty runes. I'm having a look back here, and a lot of them are just into the breach bounty rune. So could be that. Could also be the fact that I saw Adzantic ferrying himself a lot of regen. There was a few salves and stuff that he brought out to himself. So could just be that's where a lot of the net worth you go was in the consumables. But now this is where Adzantic can really abuse the fact that he's a strong hero. But if he goes down here, this could be bad.
He's the one that might be getting abused. The Dragon Tail stun gonna do enough to bait him out of trouble. Divine Llama actually wants to go in. Thought about completing the full onslaught, but he's like, yeah, I just want to go back top, honestly. I will see them contest for this power rune. Nobody else is TPing in just yet. Where is it spawning? Top lane. It's going to be a haste picked up by Supreme.
Yeah, this time around the RNG favors Supreme, and he's happy with that. They're just going to keep respect towards this mid lane because they know where Dalai Lama is. They see him towards the mid lane, so Otaka's going to be happy with how that is going. They don't really have pressure from Yuma or Theola Call because it's an Enchantress and a Spectre, so things are not going to feel too scary from them. So I like the fact that they're divvying up their resources really, really well. They're making sure that Otaka, when he has these opportunities to be able to be left alone, they do leave him alone, and they're able to put a little bit more emphasis back on a Supreme who is starting to do really well, and pulling away at a 2k net worth lead with only being 1 kill ahead this early on in the game is really, really good here for Into the Breach, and can set themselves up for a good mid game. But the hero is very, very strong coming out from D2 Hustlers. They got a lot of damage early on, and Divine Llama, he's probably dead here. Could be a double kill.
They're gonna try maybe kill Hakoda as well, and they actually bring in 4 heroes to make sure that Divine Llama goes down. The kill gets taken away by Otaka. Would have been nice if Supreme got it, so that he gets the gold for the rotation, but we'll get some bounties for his efforts. They kill a courier as well, so that's going to buttress his net worth. The important thing, though, is that they protect this Terrorblade from going down, kill Divine Llama. They have lost the tier 1 tower middle, though. That's the one thing Adzantic did a really good job at. The utilization of the Elder Dragon form to keep constantly poking at the tier 1 tower. Okay, so D2 Hustlers, they haven't made that many moves on the map that are really big just yet, though. I think I'm probably just waiting for the Blink Dagger, right, for Adzantic. He's not that far away from it either. And top,
he's about 500
is Divine Llama dead? Oh no, Divine Llama's dead. He's dead again. Oh no.
Oh, it's not even 6 yet, man.
Oh. I know, he's 100% dead. Yeah.
This is rough. I was just about to say that the one disappointing thing for D2 Hustlers is this top lane got no kills. They haven't been able to do really anything. They got, I believe, 1 kill in a Respect early on, but the fact that you have this big kill lane with Skywrath Mage and Primal Beast and not being able to transition that into kills onto the Terrorblade is really bad for D2 Hustlers, because you can see now Divine Llama, he's 3 levels behind Otaka. Like, he's really far behind, and a lot of net worth too. And this hero really needs to abuse the early stages, because that's when he's really, really strong, and transition that into his big item spikes. And if you can't do that and you can't make these rotations, it's going to be on Adzantic once again. Once he gets his Blink Dagger to save his side lanes, probably not go anywhere near the Spectre. Just try and run around with his Primal Beast and get him back into the game with a lot of these kills that are going to be able to get off the back of, a Dragon Tail Star into Onslaught into Pulverize.
Honestly, this game without BKB for Primal Beast is really annoying to play. You have to worry about Sleight of Fist with the chains combo, you have to worry about getting lifted, you have to worry about smoke screen interrupting your spells, have to worry about fire snap quickies. So he needs things to start going a little bit better for him. And unfortunately, he also is needed because they need to make space for Yuma. Yuma also doesn't have that much net worth. We're talking about Divine Llama having a rough start. Spectre has her usual start, and her start is always rough, but without heroes to make space for you, how do you make that recovery happen? They really need Adzantic to do phenomenally. They have this Blink Dagger now for him, and they will reveal it. Oh, perfect target.
Oh,
they found the Ember Spirit. That is perfect. The only way it could have been better is if they had mana for the Haunts for Yuma to come in, but they'll still take it right now.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what you need to do. You can see the D2 Hustlers understand that this Dragonite Skywrath Mage combination is going to be what's going to bring them back into this game. As you said, Yuma didn't have the Haunt, or didn't have the mana to Haunt, so wasn't able to join that fight. They would have loved to be able to find out Otaka, but he's sitting in this triangle area and being okay. They're going to try and play around this ward as well. Adzantic has the Elder Dragon form, so he's going to feel pretty strong about how this fight's going to go.
They've already gotten the stun out onto Respect. Respect is about to die. Oh no, he's not. He stays alive a little while longer, getting off the magic wand, and now they're turning their attention back onto Adzantic. Here comes Supreme. Morty's kisses rain in from Shibe as well. He's also making his presence known, and they're not done just yet. They really want Hakoda, chasing him down. With the slide of fist, coming back off cooldown, they don't even need it. Flame God brings him low, Ricky finishes him off. And with the Metamorphosis from Terrorblade, looks like they want to add the tier 1 tower. Hell, they even have the Dragon form stolen by Respect, hilariously enough.
Yeah, he was able to yoink that one. Surprisingly, he has Fireball as well. He can't use it. That's a weird thing. I haven't seen anybody steal Eldritch Dragon form in a long time, so the fact that Fireball is just sitting there as a spell is kind of crazy. And this is transitioning off the back of good lanes for ITB, right? They're able to just bring their 5 heroes towards mid. They get a mid tier 1, they get a big kill onto Adxantic, and now they're able to transition that into more space being able to be taken. Supreme's done a really, really good job after being kind of handled in the CS department to stay at parity with the net worth, right? And even after losing a few of these towers, he comes back now with his Maelstrom. He's going to get in towards that BKB, and then he's going to be relatively happy with how this game's going to go. I don't think he's going to die into a combo unless he gets chain stunned with like the Pulverize, and D2 Hustlers just haven't been able to combine their heroes just yet. You know, Devi Lama's still farming in the top lane and looking to see if they can get a kill now with that Xantic and the Blink, but man, the Spidey senses are so strong from Otaka this game.
Yep. Like before they even cross the river, because he was farming the triangle, before they even made it across the river, he leaves illusions and starts the retreat. Knows that something is up. I mean, they have decent vision in the Radiant jungle. And they're like, where could these heroes possibly be right now? We don't see anybody pushing our top. This mid lane is being shoved all the way into the tier 2 tower. So only one place they could be, probably coming for me. Gets out of dodge.
Yeah, especially with the ward they have on the Radiant Triangle as well, so they know exactly where any of these heroes need to be. They're like, if he's not top and he's not in his jungle and these lanes are too far pushed out, you know exactly what's going on. The Oracle is going to try and get some information.
There we go.
Unfortunately, all he gets is a slap on the butt.
Hey, that is still information. He's found out where 5 heroes are. Space, boys. I'm giving you vision. That's what's up. He's a mobile ward. That's what's happening.
I'm just trying to think of like what's the transition going to look like now for D2 Hustlers, right? Like their Primal Beast hasn't been able to get in this game. Their Spectre hasn't been able to get in this game. TB's really starting to pull ahead of a lot of these cores. And same with Supreme, right? Like it's going to get to a point where they're not going to be able to combo. Okay, I was going to say, like, I need to see a link up between these two cores, Adxantic and Devi Lama, because they have a lot of burst damage, a lot of magical burst damage between the two of them. And I want to see them try and get a kill here onto the TB. This is going to be massive if they get Otaka here.
Otaka. Oh my god, this guy, dude. Who is this guy? The Spidey senses were tingling. He does get brought down, though, as they didn't tingle hard enough. He got back there to the tier 2 tower, but not beneath it. Devi Lama, in the meantime, caught out by Supreme. But there's not going to be any follow-up. The rest of the team is inbound, though. They really want to try find these heroes. And Supreme puts his body on the line. They kill off this Devi Lama Primal Beast. Scatterblast does miss, but Hakoda almost certainly going to die. Gives away the Arcane Bolt to boot. At the same time, Adxantic caught with the Searing Chains. Morty's Kisses rain down upon him. They certainly have enough damage for this one. And he had a moment left before he got to safety. But it turned out to be one moment too many. As Shibe gets a double, 3 heroes fall. And ITB lose Otaka, but take a huge amount in the opposite direction.
Yeah, being able to transition that back into 3 kills is huge for them. Pushes Supreme closer towards his BKB.
Oh, dude, look
gets
Immersion
closer.
Look at him.
Oh.
Dude, with Arcane Bolt. Stolen Arcane Bolt. There's a lot of damage from Respect. Respect actually might solo kill him with the help of Immersion. He's dead.
Nice. A lot of damage. And I was saying, right, that he just gives Immersion a whole lot more gold, and now the fact that he has his shard, he can transition to kind of whatever item he wants, right? Like, I've seen things like Boots of Bearing, Aether Lens, Diffusal Blade. And he's probably dead now, though.
Okay, well, those items are going to be a little bit delayed.
Also,
boys, I know where the awards are. I found the vision.
I figured it out. I have a question. Can you see the Mystic Flare?
Yes and no. I can see it this game, but the last time I saw a Skyrath Mage, I couldn't.
Okay, because I can't see it. And I remember the last game in North America that I covered with, that we covered, actually, and we saw a Skyrath Mage. Couldn't see it either. Observer couldn't see it, so it's just a visual bug, I guess, but...
It's 50-50. Like, in every game I've ever seen of Skyrath, you just never know. Some games you can't see it, and sometimes you'll see it for a while, and then it'll just disappear, and you're like, well, I guess there's no Mystic Flare anymore.
Which is a little rough for some of these players, right? Like, if they don't see it, then that's like, how you're supposed to know where to run, right?
You don't run, Luke. You just go in. You force the fight. You just go forward.
Yeah, just build a BKB forehead.
Hakoda actually loses a fairly decent courier here. It had some wards, enough fluff he had. Let's see if they can kill him here. Immersion drops down the smoke. Oh my god. Sleep dot, smoke cloud, supreme damage. Easy kill for the Ember Spirit. And this was an Ember that was supposedly struggling. Now he's ahead of the DK, not just keeping parity with him at this point. And he's going to be picking up a BKB fairly shortly. And after BKB, I guess in this game, if you go BKB Lincolns, I don't see how you die anymore as a Ember Spirit.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to have to come down to something along the lines of like a basher from Yuma, but he's a long way away from being the scary Spectre. He's the lowest of all the cores. He's got Blade Mail up. He's got decent amount towards his Aghanim Scepter, but to have this Aghanim Scepter build really start to snowball for you, you need to have other cores that are strong in the game too. And unfortunately for Adzentic and Divine Llama, they haven't been able to get their grip on the game just yet, but they have BKB up now on the Primal.
Well, they're might have to get a BKB on Adzentic, as he's been slept up right now. They want Hakoda first, the easy target. The Arcane Pulse still coming massively into effect. Divine Llama, he has BKB to protect himself. The same is not true for Adzentic, as Theoloco also joins the fray. Divine Llama considering a pulverize, but he knows that such an action might get him killed. The jump on, here's Immersion, the sleep dart onto this Primal Beast. Primal falling way too low. Even if he BKBs, he's still gonna die. He does manage to hold off, triggering the Super Saiyan form, but his life is nonetheless forfeit. We jump onto Enchantress, finish her off as well. ITB, man, will not be denied in this game. 7k gold lead, 19 minutes in. They're picking up a tier 1 tower in the top lane. They have control now of the Radiant Triangle. Where on earth is Yuma supposed to farm? And honestly, Fluke, when you spoke about the Spectre and what she needs to do in this game, my mind had to be like, oh yeah, by the way, there's still a Spectre in this game. I completely forgot. Yuma's had no impact, man. He's 0-0-3 on the Spectre without even having used the ultimate. They jump onto Adzentic now and he dies to, oh no. Hakoda, Mystic Flare can't even kill a Rubik anymore. Divine Llama can't finish him off. And there's the first haunt. Yuma goes in, but they're like, okay, cool. Respect was dead anyway.
Yeah, it was weird in that last fight because Adzentic was like 10 seconds off Dragon Form. So like if they had Dragon Form, they could have BKB'd on Divine Llama, they could have Dragon Form, they could have Haunted, and maybe that was a good team fight for them, right? But they just didn't have things line up for them enough that they felt confident in taking a fight, and they were just like slowly walking back and kiting around, and they eventually just get caught with too much of the movement coming in from Supreme. And now that they've used the Haunt for like what, a support kill, like come on, like it's really not what you need to be able to do here in these early stages, because Utica, he's got a Scardy now, dude. Like, he has 2.3k HP. He doesn't even need to go BKB. Supreme already has his BKB in 20 gold to be able to come out to him. So, like, these next couple of fights, I think you have to overperform for D2 Hustlers and maybe even into the breach into throw a little bit, right? Like, it is going to be so hard for them to win these fights because playing into a BKB on Supreme, a 2.5k HP Terrible Blade, like, you have to use so many of your spells to be able to catch one of these two cores that the other one is going to have a free time in the fight. It's like I was talking about in game number 1, right? Like, where they have these multiple cores that you have to use so much to be able to kill them, gotten this massive lead of them grouping up as 5 and getting a lot of kills and a lot of towers, that it's just too hard now for D2 Hustlers.
Man, you want to speak about how hard it's going to get, my friend? You neglected one core on the side of ITB. Don't forget, we have a core Snapfire, and she now has full Guardian Greaves pipe 20 minutes into the game. They're jumping onto Adzentic, who still doesn't have BKB, so he is dead to rights. Brought down, does have buyback if needed. And they just got an Aghanim Scepter onto the Spectre, but it's not going to help anybody on the team just yet. The damage output is way too high as ITB find yet another kill. Immersion, he's stalking against Divine Llama. He wants the angle for the sneak dot, and they find it. Oh no, there's no more BKB, Fluke. And they shouldn't be any more life either, as Divine Llama caught inside the smoke screen. Nothing he can do to escape that one. That's 2 cores and Enchantress, and all the while, Terrorblade not even involved in the fights. He's just casually soloing Roshan, chilling, man.
Yeah, I mean, the way they came here to game today, man. They woke up on the right side of the bed. They had like their 8 wheat picks in the morning. They feel good. They definitely came here to play, and we talked about it, right? Like, these guys need to win this series to be able to stay in the hunt for Div 1, and you can see they're super hungry to get this done, and they're playing clean. Really, really clean Dota. Theoloco.
Is he dead?
No.
No, Ember Spirit doesn't want to jump in. Okay, still fine. All right,
like-
so what's the game plan here for D2 Hustlers? You're playing into an Aegis, you're playing into uber farmed heroes. The only one that has any items really, like you're still making space for Yuma. He's still not ready to fight just yet. And you still don't have BKB for ads and tick. Oh no, if he dies again, is he ever gonna get this item? Yoloko getting jumped on right now. Yuma finally makes a big appearance. Hakoda misses out with the Mystic Flare. Yoloko will be the first one dead. Supreme now jumping onto ads and tick with his own BKB active, saying, mate, I bet you wish you had this item. Would be nice. Kills him off. Like you mentioned, Yuma has to retreat. That's the first Axe Hordes in the game. Use the Shadow Step as well, and it does absolutely nothing for them, Fluke. They just cannot find an angle into ITV.
Yeah, they don't have damage, man. Like it's just straight and simple. They don't have the damage to kill any of these heroes, and they're just constantly getting caught by this Ricky, who's just Immersion is just walking around the map, man. Like he's just walking around, he's vibing out, he just throws the dart here or there. He just says, "You guys want a free kill?" Gets themselves kills on cores, and Azantic is just slowly but surely falling behind. He is close to the BKB, and maybe that's where they're able to get this next fight. You know, Divine Llama, he's got Blink BKB now. They have items to be able to fight, but the fact that they're 13k behind at 23 minutes in the game, it is too hard for them to be able to perfectly execute and kill multiple cores. Yes, they can kill Supreme. Yes, they could kill Otaka if they do play that way, but they have to get this coordinated assault onto one of these two cores and then convert that into an objective. But this is an Ember Spirit with an Aegis. Like, Divine Llama, he doesn't want to blink BKB him. Like, yeah, you might kill him, but it's just an Aegis, and they turn around once the BKBs and the ultimates are gone, and what are you supposed to fight with then?
I mean, Supreme, the one person that they do not want to jump on. To make matters worse, Shebe is sitting right behind him with the Greaves pipe, so it's actually an open question if they can kill him at all, or if they'll just find themselves in a situation where he enables BKB and gets a turnaround. Right now, though, smoke break by Divine Llama. The DD rune on Supreme, which he will activate for this fight. Big horns in by Yuma, but they haven't found a priority target just yet. Look at Azantic taking so much damage. Will he ever get BKB? Stop killing this man. He is down and out. They're gonna go forward in the fight. Hakoda gets off the Mystic Flare with the Primal Beast Pulverize, and that allows him to kill the Rubik. Unfortunately, though, it might doom Divine Llama. He gets Searing Change just as his BKB ends during his onslaught. They catch him on the retreat. They bring him down. It's a 3-for-1 affair. A double damage was utilized by ITB, so that means that they will be able to threaten both Tier 2 top and Tier 2 middle and get themselves even more map space than they had already.
Dude, where was Theolocal? Is he just like not in that fight?
Where was Theolocal? That's a good question.
I think he was top. So,
No.
I mean, that to me just indicates what's happening right now for D2 Hustlers. I think unfortunately they just are not on the same page today, and they're really getting torn to pieces by an ITB squad that it looks like they are humming. Like these guys seem like they are like a well-oiled squad and really are playing on the same page. Unfortunately for them, that fight just doesn't go well because Divine Llama, he pulverized at the end, but that's the first pulverize I've seen in the game. And it's hard for you to play with this Primal Beast here if you're not abusing his spells early on, because he does a lot of damage, a lot of magic damage. But if you're just not using Pulverize, that's like a 40-second cooldown. Like, it's hard for you to win these fights. And you can just see that Yuma just doesn't do that much damage in these fights either.
Yuma's dead. Yuma's actually 100% dead.
Oh, that was sick.
Caught out on the other side of the map. Doesn't have a BKB to protect himself, so certainly just going to end up dying here. It's going to take them a while. He's going to lose some HP. And he's actually going to Shadow Step forward onto Respect. Trying to make some sick play, but not going to be able to do so. In the meantime, they are fighting here around this Roshan pit. BKB popped by Supreme. Dude, Supreme just 1v4'd them and is actually going to get a kill. This is kind of crazy, kind of buck. DK even left, be like, well, there's no point me being in this fight. Supreme just on one right now. I don't know if production can actually give us a replay of that last fight that happened so we could see where Theoloco was, but on the bright side, you know, everything's looking tough. But at least Azantic has BKB. You see, now he can BKB TP out. Doesn't just get caught out and killed, man. So there's a silver lining somewhere.
Yeah, exciting. I bet you Azantic is really loving that he has the BKB TP out after being able to farm it for the last 20 minutes. So, yeah, it's a rough game, man. I mean, Dota Plus is still favoring Spectre to a certain amount. Like, it's 92% for Into the Breach. I thought this would be way more like close to 99, but Spectre's still in the game. Divine Llama, he has BKB, so we can at least fight.
And there's no Aegis right now, so this might be an opportunity. They're going to try and look for Respect and bring him down with the trample. So that's one big kill. Mystic Flare connects onto Shebe. Shebe forced to flee away. And right now, they've only lost one hero on between these two sides. DK though, oh no, caught on the high ground. That time around, he did not have his BKB, was still on cooldown, and he will die. Divine Llama also doesn't have BKB anymore. Sleep Dog from Ricky up in a second. It's gonna be able to connect onto this primal. The smoke screen there as well. Fire Snap Cookie will not connect. Nice four stop, but even better Morty's kisses. Shebe finds a double between him and him as the Snapfire and this Ortega TB. They're able to mop up another 3 heroes, 4 tier 2 to follow. And I think we're not that far away from the golden letters coming out, Luke. I don't see how they win this game on the side of D2 Hustlers anymore.
Yeah, it's these fights too hard, man. Like Otaka, like he literally is untouchable. He's what, 10,000 net worth above the Dragonite and 9,000 net worth above the Spectre. Like, and it's not like Spectre is like one of those heroes that just out and out beats TB. And now with Supreme doing this to your Spectre and your Sky Mage, it's gonna be hard.
He might actually kill Supreme here. BKB is not going to protect him forever, so does have to watch himself. They jump back and kill this Ricky. Live back. Oh no, that's the salvation of respect. But they did have to show respect for the first time in quite a while. We are getting to a point where it's not win condition moments just yet, but Spectre is starting to become an issue. She's no longer completely ignorable in the fight. You do have to worry about her damage output. Eventually, she can become dangerous in a game like this.
True. She still will need probably about another item or two before she can go anywhere near the Terrorblade. So if she can continue to farm on the respect in the backlines and maybe even immersion, they can start to drag this game back. But I think the biggest issue for me is Atlantic and Divine Llama just really haven't been able to get in this game at all. They need a few more items to be able to stay in these fights. I think the biggest thing for me is there's just some slight disconnects with how their fights are going. Like there's been multiple times where Atlantic doesn't have Dragon Form. I understand not having BKB and all that kind of stuff, but initiating a fight when your Dragonite doesn't have Dragon Form, you might as well not have your Dragonite. He's a much weaker hero without the Dragon Form. That's why we're seeing a lot of these Dragonites go for like Octarine Core to have as much uptime as you possibly can on that ultimate. And unfortunately for Adzentic, he just hasn't been able to have that stranglehold of a game like we've seen in a lot of these other series. I highlighted him as one of my personal favorite players here in Western Europe, and he just hasn't been able to have a series where he has control of the game, whereas Supreme, speaking of...
jumps in, they get the jump in from Divine Llama, pulverize into Mystic Flare. Do they have enough damage to kill? Yes, they do. Does have a Remnant drop down, but no buyback, so maybe they pursue this fight further. They're chasing the Ricky. They found the dust onto him, so they have the reveal onto Immersion. They did have to pop BKB for that on both Divine Llama as well as Adzentic. But bringing down Supreme at this stage of the game, well worth it. And better yet, Fluke, who gets the kill? It's Yuma on the Spectre.
Yeah, that is 100% worth. Look at the amount of gold they got, right? Like, that is a 1,600 net worth swing, which is massive for them at this moment in time because Yuma gets a lot of that gold, builds him towards his next item, which, what's it going to be? Probably Basher, I think. Is like Basher Abyssal Blade is the best place to go. You can go for something along the lines of like a Skadi if you want to be a little bit tankier, but he is at the point now where, as you said, you can't really ignore the Spectre anymore. Like, she does this amount of damage, and she's also quite tanky herself. And if Into the Breach aren't playing super clean, they can get caught out, as we just saw. Like, they've got enough lockdown, they've got enough damage. I was kind of questioning the amount of damage they could do to the Ember Spirit, but as soon as he got anywhere close to that Mystic Flare, he just got melted, man. Like, he got deleted. So, these fights keep going that way, they can look good.
They almost killed Respect or Immersion rather here in the mid lane with the combination yet again. Adzentic trying to get out, but no. Stolen Onslaught by the Ricky, interrupted. They get a kill back onto Adzentic. At the same time, we see Theoloco able to rain down some impetus shots, which do manage to bring down Respect. But Yuma, this is the real big top. Slowed down by the Sleep Dart, caught in by the smoke screen. Where are the 4-stars? Where is the help? None of it is coming. They bring down Yuma, the priority target in the fight. There's buyback on the Spectre, and that is the best buyback quant hero in the game. And they also kill off Immersion here. Will they find revenge though? Supreme going back in for Divine Llama. Divide does have BKB, but right now just leading them on a merry little goose chase away from the base, away from the push. It's only Otaka that's there right now. Dude, this is actually so sick from Divine Llama. He's gonna onslaught away right now. They won't be able to cancel this. And yeah, you lost your tier 3 tower, but now you actually don't lose the racks anymore. Divine Llama with the game-saving plays at the very end there, keeping hopes of game 2 alive for D2 Hustlers.
Yeah, that was big brain. That's massive for them, as you said, kind of saving a Rax by himself, still being able to live, and now he's getting his halberd on the way as well. So They're starting to get to that point, man. They're starting to finally claw back into this game. It is a long road ahead, though. Like a massively long road ahead. Like they have to win these next couple, like 5 or 6 fights, right? Like they need to win some of these fights and win some of these fights convincingly too, for me to start having the faith back in the D2 Hustlers to pull this one back. But they are playing the way that they need to. They're getting a lot of these quick picks and they're kiting around into the breach as well.
They find Shibe. Force Spark will be there, getting him away from the Mystic Flare. BKB into the Pulverize. They really want this kill. Shibe, will he lose his life here? Hakoda trying to get out the damage, and they succeed. Yuma horns into the fray right now as well, but they've stunned out Supreme. But Supreme finally gets off the BKB, turns around onto Divine Llama. With the Searing Chains and the damage from the Flame Guard, they almost bring down the Primal Beast, but he does get away to safety on the high ground. Onslaught down to the low ground as well. They leave behind the Yolocore, but that's a worthwhile exchange. The Yolocore for Shibe, at this stage of the game, you take that trade. And it's also just as Roshan was back online for a contest, so they could still maybe think that they want to try and take it, but unfortunately here they use all their ultimates that really matter. So ITB are like, oh sweet, free Roshan for us.
Yeah, that's the one unfortunate thing about that fight, but again, a boatload of gold going into Yuma's pocket. He got 1,000 gold in that previous fight, so they're starting to win these fights, and I think the big thing for me is the way they're kiting around as well is insane. Like the fact that Divine Llama is still being able to survive in a lot of these fights. He's using the uproar to be able to get himself out of like Slider Fissuring Chains combos. And they have a 4-staff available now on Theolacore, and the way that Theolacore just like walks in towards the end there and just says, here, take me, my team's retreating, we're gonna take this trade. They do give up Roche, which is Aegis and a Ag Shard, so that's a little unfortunate for D2 Hustlers, but they kind of have to take everything as they're given, right? Like they can't be like, oh, we need to win this team fight and then get Roche and then get this and that. They need to make sure they're slowly chipping away out into the breach, who are just building this massive lead. And you know, right now, it's only Otakar that's really the kind of end-all and be-all, right? Like, he's 10,000 of their 22k net worth lead, and the rest is kind of just on the supports. So the way that this is looking right now, if they're slowly able to get their Spectre to a strong point, it's starting to be scary for Into the Breach, right? Because Ember doesn't deal with Spectre, and TB does to a certain extent, but everybody else is losing their life around them.
Ooh, they still pulverize though. Throw it back onto Divine Llama, and he's gonna die. He doesn't have buyback. They jump forward right now. Supreme with his own BKB, zoning 4 heroes away by himself. Morty's kisses follow up. It will be enough to kill Theoloco. Neither himself nor Divine Llama have access to buyback. And this lane of Rax, which Divine Llama was able to salvage earlier on, this time around there is no such option. Just shy of gold, man. If only they had these bounty runes available to pick up, they could have brought back into the fray. And they have to try to do something drastic here. Losing 2 lanes of Rax, this is where he starts to see the game get a bit too difficult. And unfortunately, it's this TB with the Aegis, and he's just sitting on the high ground at the meta. You really can't jump him.
Yeah, you can't get in onto this Terrorblade, as you said, with the Aegis. They're going to lose 2 lanes of Rax, but I'd imagine into the breach now, they're just going to fall back. They're going to be happy with what they've gotten. They didn't get any buybacks, but they got enough out of that they're going to be happy with this. They know that there's only 1 lane of Rax between them and Mega Creeps. And as long as they don't get caught out and, you know, initiated on in these next couple of fights, they're going to be happy with this. So now Adzentic has the Ag's Dragon form. So he's not level 18 just yet, so he's still a little ways away from that. So he won't have access to the Black Dragon. But the way that it's looking, they are starting to slowly claw this game back. But Into the Breach, like 27k now within 36 minutes in. I'm you know, huffing a bit of hopium here for D2 Hustlers with the way that they've been playing, but you know, Into the Breach, they put themselves in such a good spot. But if they continue to lose some of these fights, things can start to get scary. They don't just out and out win if this game goes to like, you know, 50, 60 minutes. If anything, I think they lose out when this game gets like ultra late.
They don't want to get there though, as oh no, Divine Llama lifted up, kill off, no buyback on the Primal piece. He finally does get off the BKB, and he actually doesn't die. Kept alive with the Glimmer Cape. Big plays coming in from D2 Hustlers to enable their captain to live. They also force out a BKB from Supreme. Autica in the meantime though, concerning himself primarily with these buildings. Takes down the range racks. They want more, but they managed to defend at least their hero lives for now. Theoloco though, not going to be so lucky. Yuma making the jump. They want to try to bring down Respect first and foremost, but they can't get him. Pulverize combo onto Supreme. Will they kill this Ember Spirit? Yes, they do. Because he popped BKB earlier on, he was vulnerable to the Ancient Seal of Skywrath Mage. But he does have buyback. He returns into the fray. looking for Hakoda. Will be able to find him. Hakoda does have buyback. Adzentik does have it as well. They're both going to be forced into it, as ITB will claim the Megas off the back of this. The question is, can they retreat from this fight? They get the pulverized combo onto Ataka. He still does have this Aegis available. He turns around right now. In the meantime, Spectre, she jumped the back end of the fight, but she got caught out. Stolen pulverized from Respect onto Yuma. And Yuma is out. Yuma is dead. And there's no buyback for the Spectre. ITB are on the cusp. Fluke, they're doing it. They've killed everybody. They forced the GG. They've done it. Hopes of going to Div 1 are somehow still alive. They deliver the first loss to D2 Hustlers. They stay out of the relegation zone. And